Hello and welcome to our webinar on Applied Sound Engineering at the University of West London. Today we have Christos Hosidis, Senior Lecturer in Sound Engineering, who you'll hear from very soon. We also have members of the recruitment and admissions teams answering questions. Thank you for joining us today. There's a big group of you online, so we look forward to talking to you and answering your questions. Today's webinar is geared towards undergraduate study at UWL. Some of you online will be holding offers to come and study with us in September, and others won't yet have applied or may be thinking about applying with us, studying with us in the future years. Either way, today's webinar will be relevant to you. Let's have a look at what we're going to cover in today's session. To start, we'll tell you a bit about the university and what makes us special. I will then pass you over to Christos to guide us through applied sound engineering. Finally, we'll be ready to take any questions you have, but do feel free to ask them as we go through too, and we'll aim to respond to each of you as quickly as possible. We have members from the UK student recruitment team and the international here also taking questions. The University of West London is a vibrant, modern university with a reputation for high-quality education closely linked to employment. We aim to inspire our students to become innovative professionals ready to challenge accepted norms and boundaries in order to carve out exciting and rewarding careers. We have the best graduate employment rate in London, with 96% of our graduates in full-time work or further study within 6 months of graduation, and they are earning the highest salaries from any modern London university. Everything we do is designed to equip you with both the academic knowledge and practical skills to succeed in your chosen career. This is why we are the Career University. The university itself is structured into 8 specialist schools, each of which has its own unique character and reputation in industry. In terms of our student body, we have around 11,000 students, roughly 15% of which are international students from all over the world. That may sound like a lot of students, but our typical lecture size is only around 28 students, though it does vary and we do have larger lectures. Seminars are typically made up of around 18 students and workshops around 14 students. This enables us to really focus on our students as individuals. And this approach seems to work, as we were recently voted as Best in London for Student Satisfaction and the Best Students' Union in London in the annual National Student Satisfaction Survey. The university has recently undergone a £100 million campus investment to ensure our students have access to state-of-the-art learning and social facilities. If you're not familiar with our location, our West London campuses in Ealing and Brentford are located in 2 of the most desirable places to live in the capital. Both towns combine a vibrant, cosmopolitan atmosphere with spacious parks and a relaxed cafe culture. The area is safe, it's beautiful, it's multicultural, and close to both London Heathrow Airport and the centre of London, which you can reach in under 30 minutes by tube. I'm now going to hand over to my colleague Christos, who will tell you about audio sound engineering at the University of West London.
Hello everybody. In my turn, I would like to welcome you to this event. My name is Christos Hosidis, you can call me Christos, and I'm here to give you a brief introduction to the course of Applied Sound Engineering we offer here in the University of West London. I personally work in sound engineering industry for more than 20 years, and I'm very excited to be here today because I believe that me and my colleagues will design and deliver a course tailored to requirements of a professional career in this sector. As Natalie said before, the logo of the university is Career University, and our courses are focusing in this direction. So let's start this by having a look on what is a sound system engineer and what he or she can do as a profession. The profile of a sound system engineer is usually a person that loves sound, music, and technology. It is often a musician or a DJ or an enthusiast audiophile. But the areas that a graduate sound engineer can work are not always very clear. There are, of course, some standard areas that we all have in our mind, but there are, believe me, much more. We have on top of this slide the most common, the most expected area of interest, which is the recording studio. A sound system engineer can work in a recording studio as a recording, mixing, and mastering engineer. Some of you will say that with modern technology, everybody can have a studio at home and make his own productions. But believe me, famous artists and big bands will always record in big professional studios, not only because of the equipment, of course, available, but also because of the facilities which cannot be replaced by a home studio. So this is a very challenging area to work somebody. The next area is TV and film industry. We all know that video and film are directly connected to audio. You cannot imagine a motion picture or a video production without a sound, and sound system engineers are working also in that area. Of course, everybody understands that live sound industry, it's an area of that a sound system engineer works, and a graduate from our course can join a big live sound company or create his own company and cover live events. An area that not many people know, that sound engineers have a lot of they can have a career. It's the theaters. If any of you had a chance to follow any of the productions here in West End or in Broadway, he or she will understand how important is sound in theaters. And I would like to say at this point that all venues, all areas that they have a sound system installed, they can actually occupy a sound system engineer. So in theaters, I can add also exhibition center, conference center, hotels, etc. Another area that sound system engineers can work, it's the area of audio post-production and sound design. We will see films. We all know that there is a visual environment, but if we are more careful, we will see that behind the visual environment there is a audio environment, sound environment. This is designed in collaboration, of course, with the producers and the directors. It is designed by sound system engineers in a post-production stage. All the previous areas required a piece of creative skills, but there are some completely technical areas that a graduate sound system engineer can work. We all use sound systems, we all use audio equipment, but who is designing those equipment? There are companies who are designing those equipments, and graduate sound system engineers with knowledge of electronics can work in those companies, or create their own company or join a company for the maintenance of those devices. A very challenging area that sound system engineers can work is the acoustic design and acoustic consultancy. As we all know that sound, it's part of the acoustic science, and acoustic consultants are working to create a environment where sound can be heard properly. They work in isolating a music club, for example, in order for the sound not to go outside the club, or isolate again a hospital or a school or a hotel which is next to an airport or a motorway, in order for the sound not to come inside. There are every year there are new directions and laws created by the European Union and local governments, and this is a very, very challenging area for somebody to work. Last but not least, I left a very, very challenging area as well, which is the area of audio programming. We all use digital audio devices and systems, some of us using plugins and music software, but who is designing this software? Who is designing those applications? A sound system engineer, a graduate sound engineer with good skills in programming can work in this area, and believe me, I see lately very many advertisements about these jobs, and I can say that they are also very well paid jobs. So let's see a little bit how our course is approaching this sector. We believe that the key requirement for a successful professional is a balanced combination of practice and theory. We strongly believe that a good theoretical background is very important for the progress of our graduates in all areas. Let's be realistic. The university is the place and the time that we need to learn. We have the opportunity to learn the basics, to the fundamental of our science, of our job, of our profession. It's a place where that we are taking you from the hand step by step without stress, and you can learn all the necessary, you can get all the necessary knowledge to succeed in your profession. Knowledge, it's enormous. I mean, we never stop learning, but if we, believe me, we have a good background, that becomes a much easier procedure. We are training professionals, so our course is based on practical experience and application of knowledge. So for every theoretical subject we have a lot of practical work. In engineering generally, we study the theory to implement it in practice, and that's what we do here. So our course, it's a combination of theory and practice. In these slides, I have the entry requirements for this year. We offer our course with and without foundation here. You can see here the entry requirements for both versions, but we can discuss this with the admission team of the university, or with Natalie later on. They can give you more information, especially those who are applying from outside UK. You'll probably have to ask more information about that. I will spend a little bit time in these slides because I want to give you a good description of the structure of our course, structure. As I said, we offer this with or without foundation year. So level 3 is our foundation year, and you have 4 modules and 1 applied project. The first module we study in the foundation year is essential sound engineering. It's an introduction to the fundamental systems, devices, and practices related to audio systems, and it's mostly based on studio work. Skills for academic study are it's a generic module where you will gain skills to perform your studies, how to investigate things, how to do research, how to write reports, and how to deal with the university issues. The next module we are studying in the level 3, as we say, the foundation level, it's analytical mathematics. Analytical mathematics are very basic mathematics, very basic algebra, statistics, basic calculus, and trigonometry. Believe me, all are very, very important in our sector of understanding how sound works, how sound systems works. And the last module we have in our first foundation year is Introduction to Software Development. This is actually a basic programming module based on C language. So those who have some background knowledge in C, they will find this very easy. We have also an applied engineering project. It's a basic project which introduces you into the life cycle of a project. It's a project life cycle, which is research, the development of the project, the evaluation of your results and your findings, conclusion, reference, and gives you a good practice. It's a good practice that helps you to create projects in the future of your studies. So the first year of the bachelor degree, which is level 4, we have 6 very, very interesting modules. The first one is theory of sound. In this module, we are discussing about waveforms and signals, introduction to decibels, complex signals and harmonics, basic acoustic terms and measurements. You will have an introduction to digital audio, and also you discuss about how humans are understanding sound. It's a very important fundamental module that introduces you into the sound science and technology. The second module is sound recording techniques. That module gives you the basic, the fundamental requirements to work in the studio. You are going to discuss in this about signal routing, microphone techniques, signal processing, mixing, multi-track recording, and it's the first step for somebody who wants to work in the studio environment. We have a mathematics for sound engineering in this first year in level 4. It's a little bit more advanced than the previous year. We are discussing again about algebra, differentiation, integration, and some statistics. All subjects very important, as I said, for our sector, for our job. There is a very interesting module as well for digital audio systems, where you're gonna mainly investigate MIDI systems and digital protocols for musical instruments communication, and you're gonna also work with digital workstations, sequencers, plugins. You're gonna do recording, audio processing based on the workstations, using music software. The next section is engineering software, which is more advanced software development based on C and C++. And as I said earlier, and as I will mention later on, programming, it's a very, very important sector, and it gives you chances for employability. The last module for level 4 is audio engineering. Audio engineering, it's a module which actually discusses fundamental of electrical and electronics, focusing on audio applications. It's an audio electronics and audio electrical theory, focusing on audio applications. The second year of the bachelor degree, which is level 5, has again 4 very, very interesting modules. Sound synthesis is the first one, which introduces you to the methods of creating sound. We all use synthesizers to imitate sounds or to create our unique sounds. But how are those devices working? In this module, we are going to discuss about sound synthesis. We are going to actually investigate all techniques of sound synthesis, additive, subtractive, FM, algorithmic, physical modeling, and you are going to also investigate the synthesizer architecture. Sound recording 2, it's the advanced version of sound recording 1. You studied in the previous year, and it gives you more advanced knowledge when it comes to working in the studio environment. So you're going to be introduced into large format analog consoles, advanced mic technique, miking techniques, mixing techniques, and also you're going to discuss and you're going to learn about managing studio recording sessions, which is essential if you're working in a studio environment. As I said earlier, acoustics is a very important sector, and in the next module, which is the acoustics, you are going to learn the fundamental of acoustic science. You are going to learn and you are going to practice in acoustic measurements. You are going to discuss studio acoustic treatments, and also concert hall and music venue acoustic treatments. It's a good introduction for those who want to work in the acoustic sector in the future. The next module is live sound engineering. Everybody knows what is that. I mean, most of you are aware of that. But in this module, you are going to practice and you are going to learn more things related to sound, live sound reinforcements, talking about amplifiers, preamplifiers, loudspeakers. You're going to also discuss about live sound engineering, mixing, processing, equalization, and also front of house techniques, stage management, monitoring engineering, and also health and safety issues. Audio engineering 2, it's a continuation of audio engineering 1. It's actually audio electronics and electroacoustics. It's a very, very interesting module which teach you the fundamental electronics of audio systems, of sound systems, and also introduce you to electroacoustic measurements in order for you to be able to understand all those weird specifications we read at the last page of our devices, of the manual of our devices, and how to understand what exactly they mean. In level 6, was the third year of the bachelor, the last year, you have 4 units, 4 extremely very interesting units, and also a final year project. The first unit is a music production, where you are discussing about advanced use of sequencing software, sound design using synthesis techniques, advanced recording, editing, mixing, and remixing material, and also you are discussing about the industry mechanism, how to stand in the music industry. The next session, it's again a very, very challenging. The next module is a very challenging module, which it deals with lighting and sound system design. In that module, you will learn how to design lighting systems and sound systems. We are going to speak about digital protocols in lighting communications. You're going to learn everything about sound system design, speakers, line array systems, audio system design optimization, and also how to make feasibility studies to calculate the cost, because that's also something that we do as sound system engineers. Next module, it's sound for pictures. You're going to learn here the role of sound in video and motion picture, how important it is. You're going to learn how to do mixing for audio, sound design, Foley, and also all the related digital protocols we're using in sound for pictures. We are also the last module for the level 6 is audio digital signal processing. Digital signal processing, DSP, it's a very important section. You know about that. You're going to learn the fundamental of DSP, conversion, delay, fast Fourier transformation, digital filtering, and all the DSP applications in audio. The final year project, I'm not discussing about that here because I have it in the next slide. This is a very important part and important moment actually for your studies. It is a way, after having a broad picture of all areas related to audio engineering, to choose a subject that you want to focus more. Because as you saw, our sector, it's huge. There are many different areas, many different categories. So the final year project gives you actually the opportunity to focus on something that you like more and you want to follow in your career. We try to support our teaching by bringing you closer to the real world environment, as I said earlier. For that reason, we organize events where industry guest speakers gives you an idea how the industry works and what are the skills and abilities you need to develop to succeed, in order to succeed. Here we have some examples of guests we had the previous years, and every year we organize a lot of guest talks where you can hear the opinion of the professionals and you can share their experience and you can ask questions. You can ask your questions. We also try to organize and participate in events that brings you closer to modern technology and gives you experience related to audio engineering industry. Those are some of the events we participated the previous years, and every year we investigate and we try to support our students to participate in this kind of events. The course doesn't have a placement requirement. However, we have a strong link with the industry, so you have a chance to apply, you have a chance and the support from us to apply for a placement in order to gain professional experience. Sometimes also paid professional experience. Give me a second. Postgraduate progression. You may not think of it now. It probably sounds too far away from you, but one of the many advantages of completing a university program is that you have a chance of doing postgraduate studies and become a specialist in a specific area in sound system engineering. This is a good way, believe me, this is a very good way, and gives you possibility to get the possibility to find a better job and also a better salary. Some of the areas you can continue your studies are listed here in this slide. The area of acoustic, sound recording and design, digital signal processing, analog and digital electronic engineering, or you can stay with us and complete our Master of Digital Audio Engineering, which is under development, and we hope that we believe that it will start next September 2017, and it's a very interesting course. Our university has an amazing employability record, as Natalie mentioned it before, one of the highest in the country. Here is a list of some examples of positions that our graduates got the previous years, so you can have an idea where they work. I'm leaving these slides here for you for a few seconds to have an idea what our graduates say about the course they study. We as academics, we are research active, and our aim is to reflect, to return that research outcome to our teaching. Here I'm listing the main research areas of our personnel, the main research areas of my colleagues and myself. The reason why I'm putting the slides here is because I would like to tell you that you can get involved in these research fields. You can get involved in these projects. You can get involved with your final year projects. You can get involved with your postgraduate projects if you do a master's degree, or you can continue with a research degree, a PhD or a Master of Philosophy in the University of West London, and become a researcher yourself and investigate the amazing trip of creating new knowledge. I have to say at this point that the University of West London has, as part of its school structure, the London School of Music, a very famous education institute, a very old and famous education institute in the area of music. We share with the London School of Music amazing facilities when it comes to recording and production studios. Our facility is one of the largest academic studios and labs complex in the world. Many recording studio, performance spaces, production facilities, labs, all those facilities, all those studios are available to you to book them for your work, to make your project, but also for your personal development. You can record your own music, you can record your band, you can create your own productions in the studios which are provided by the university. Of course, there is an online booking system, and you can have access to all these venues and equipment. There is also a fantastic concert hall with state-of-the-art sound system and lighting installation, and all those venues are RedNet connected. They are connected between each other with a state-of-the-art online system, and musicians can play in the one venue and they can collaborate with others in another venue. It's a very, very interesting concept that you will have the chance to experience here. I'm going to stay in this lab, in this photo a little bit, because this is our electronics lab. You're going to spend a lot of time in this lab doing some of the modules. It's a very well-equipped lab where you can have the chance to investigate the electronic part of audio system, which, as I said, is very, very important. This is also a very important slide because it shows the Media Resource Center. The Media Resource Center is actually a media store with amazing number of professional high-end equipment and instruments which are available to you to borrow them for free. You have access to all this equipment using the online booking system, and you can use this equipment and those devices for your productions, for your projects, but also for your personal development, to play with your bands and create your own music and your projects. The university has industrial standard software. It has the last version of Pro Tools, Logic Pro, Ableton, and also some very important software for teaching, like MATLAB and electronic simulation software. We are also a Steinway school, meaning that we have all our pianos are Steinway and very high quality in our facilities. We strongly support extracurricular activities, and we always try to help our students to participate in exhibitions, concerts, and to visit venues where you can have a practical experience related to our sector. You can find more of us in Facebook and Twitter. In these slides, you can also see the name and the email of our course leader, Nino Mauricio, and my name. You can put it down, you can keep it, and you can please feel free to contact me anytime you want. I can answer to your questions. We can also have a Skype meeting and talk about anything that any questions or anything you want to ask me related to our course. That's from me, Natalie.
Thanks for all the questions we've had so far. We've now got some time for any further questions you may have. Remember to let us know if you're an international student so we can respond appropriately to you. While we're answering questions, take a look at our next events and webinars. So we have got an open day coming up on Wednesday, 21st of June. It runs from 10 until 3 o'clock. You can book online there fairly easily. Just go to www.uwl.ac.uk/open, the link of which is at the bottom of this slide. We also run campus tours every Thursday, so if you'd like to come and have a feel for the university before coming to an open day, then by all means, again, you just go on that link, www.uwl.ac.uk/open, and book onto a campus tour that way. These are our other two webinars coming up before the summer term really kicks off. So if you do have some interest in media and communication or forensic science, then please do come along to that as well. We'll stay online for a little while and answer any questions that do pop up. Hi there. So an open day is a large event that typically lasts for the entire day. So an open day will have a information fair is kind of the main thing there, where all of our academic subjects are represented by a lecturer. So you can sit and chat with a lecturer if you'd like. There are also talks running throughout the day for the academic schools, as well as information for personal statement applications on student finance. So it's just a very large event. I do recommend going to as many open days as possible when you're making your university choices, because that will give you the best way to kind of see the feel of a university and whether you'll feel comfortable there. A campus tour is a 1 hour tour around the facilities, so that doesn't involve talking to lecturers. One of our fantastic student ambassadors will take you on a tour of the building, introduce you to the SU, show you our studios, depending on the subject you're interested in. So there is a significant difference, but I think both are valid in their own right. That's quite all right. We do indeed. We have one on the 21st of June. That is a weekday, and we do in fact have another one on, I do believe it's Saturday, the 1st of July. It's definitely the beginning of July. Let me just double check that information for you. Yep, it's definitely the 1st of July. So if you prefer to come on a weekend, then that would be the opportunity for you there. We are also running them in November as well. So if you're not able to visit during the summer, then we do have another opportunity for you in the autumn term. Fantastic. We look forward to seeing you there. You can come and say hello to Christos.
Yeah. We usually take between 15, 16, 17 students. We have very small classes, and we have personal relationship with our students. It's
Yep, the student finance deadline is actually at the end of May, so you can apply past that date, but I really wouldn't risk that. The Student Finance England does list the end of May as the deadline. Any later than that, and you're risking not getting your money on time. So yeah, I would stick to that May date. I mean, if you apply through clearing and you apply a little later than May, that shouldn't be too much of an issue because they do recognise that, but as soon as you know that you're going to university and you are going to need student finance, then I would get on there and apply for it as soon as possible. If there are no more questions, we'll close the webinar now. Thank you very much for joining us today. If you'd like to find out more about studying with us, please do visit www.uwl.ac.uk, and we look forward to seeing you at an open day or a campus tour soon. Thank you very much.